Welcome, and today I wanted to share a comment by Johnny Yash. Thank you, Johnny. If you have time, I found an article from the 1800s describing America being very old. It appears it's from the Franklin Repository, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, July 7th, 1858, titled The Antiquities of America. Throughout the center, length and breadth of the country, washed as it is by the waters of two mighty oceans and abounding in natural resources, enormous beyond what is possible to conceive, we find much to admire in their aspect of beauty, of nature. And whether we travel from the distant shores of Maine to New Brunswick to the golden lands of California and the shores of the great Pacific, or from the bright crystal lakes of Minnesota to the orange groves of Florida, we behold throughout the immense extent the feature of nature, grand and beautiful in every aspect. The mineralogist, the geologist, the naturalist, and even the botanist all have a rich field here. Strange as it may appear, America abounds in antiquities so extensive, so beautiful and majestic, as to rival those of Thebes, of Nineveh, ruins of ancient cities of immense extent, fortifications, mounds and pyramids, temples with walls built of hewn stone, showing a refined taste in architecture, and adorned with human figures beautifully executed, large altars ornamented with hieroglyphs probably giving a record of those who reared them, but which no man has been able to decipher. Remains of ancient palaces with beautiful specimens of sculpture and painting, with many other marks of greatness, prove to us that this is not a new world, but that a powerful empire existed at a very remote period of time, teeming with a population highly skilled in arts and in a state of civilization far beyond anything we have been led to conceive of the Aborigines, previous to the discovery of the continent by Europeans. The antiquities of America extend from the eastern shores of Maine and Massachusetts to the Pacific, and from the Great Lakes and British dominions of Perth and La Plata in South America, and in fact throughout the extent of the continents. Immense forests grow over the ruins of large cities, and the gigantic size of trees, indications that other generations of trees sprung up and grew before them, proves the ruins were in existence before the Christian era. In every portion of the United States, interesting ruins have been found. Sculptured figures of 100 animals of different species, executed in a style far surpassing the Indians. The state of Ohio abounds in ruins at towns and fortifications, with extensive towers and pyramids. At Marietta and in Missouri, beautiful pottery, silver and copper ornaments, and pearls of great beauty and luster have been dug from the earth. In the caves of Tennessee and Kentucky, mummies have been found in a high state of preservation, clothed with cloth and skins of various texture, inlaid with features. Like discoveries have been made at Carrollton near Milwaukee in the state of Wisconsin. Ruins of huge fortifications appear. Similar ruins in the state of Missouri. On the south side of the Missouri River in the western portion of the state is an enclosure of some 500 acres, which includes the ruins of a building, no doubt an ancient tower, with walls 100 feet high and 80 at the base, attached to which a redoubt and citadel, much resembling the structure of a European tower. But it is in south of Mexico that magnificent and beautiful ruins present themselves in abundance, ruins of majestic cities and magnificent temples and altars, with beautiful works of sculpture tastefully wrought, palaces adorned with paintings, colors chiefly sky blue and light green, which show by their richness and elegance to be the work of a highly cultured people. Those ruins, majestic and beautiful in appearance, but overgrown with thick forests of mahogany and cedar of immense dimensions and great age, prove to the world that the great empire teemed with an immense population, a people skilled in mechanical arts, and in an advanced state of cultivation. The most extensive ruins are to be found in Uxmal and Palenque in the southeast of Mexico. Pyramids coated with stone and quadrangular stone, edifices and terraces. The height of one of these pyramids is 130 feet, and on the summit is supported a temple. One of these facades of the temple are 4 human figures cut into stone with great exactness and elegance. The hands are crossed upon the breast, the head is covered with something like a helmet. About the neck is a garment of the skin of an alligator, and over each body is a figure of Death's head and bones. At Palenque are immense ruins, with the remains of a royal palace. One temple, that of Copan, is 200 feet by 650 and supposed to have been as large as St. Paul's at Rome. Another temple of great dimension is here, having the entrance 100 feet long and 10 feet broad. It stands on an elevation of 60 feet. The pillars of the portico are adorned with hieroglyphs and other devices. Different objects of worship have been found, representations of the gods who are worshipped in this country. These temples, with 14 large buildings and many other objects of curiosity, stand here as monuments of ancient greatness, to remind us of the remote origin of a mighty empire. The city has been called the Thebes of America, and travelers have supposed that it must have been 60 miles in circumference and contained a population of 3 million souls. Centuries must have elapsed and dynasties succeeded each other before such orders of architecture were introduced, and a great length of time must have passed before an empire would become sufficiently powerful to erect such temples and possess a city of such vast extent. In looking back to the past, we feel interested in the imagination that this people, in the noonday of glory, enjoyed all the fruits and luxuries of an advanced civilization. But when we hold these ruins, a melancholy must at once seize our minds. On the ground where once nations met in their strength and power, wild beasts now roam, and venomous serpents wend their way. And over these vast cities, where once the busy hum of industry and the voice of merriment resounded, grows the vast cedar, on which branches the owls chatter. In this country is exhibited the largest pyramid in the world, that of Cholula, near Puebla. It covers 114 acres, and is 200 feet high. On its summit was a temple, and in the interior has been discovered a vault, roofed with beams of wood containing skeletons and idols. Several smaller pyramids surrounded this large one. It appears to have been formed by cutting a hill into an artificial shape. Its dimensions are immense, being nearly 2 miles in circumference and about 400 feet high. It's divided into terraces and slopes covered with platforms, stages, and bastions, elevated one above the other, and are formed with large stones skillfully cut and joined without cement. In some respects, the style of architecture resembles the Gothic, being massive and durable, while in other respects it resembles the Egyptian. Yet the general construction matter and style of architecture is different from anything described in the world. In Egypt, hieroglyphs on stone denote remarkable events which no one has been able to decipher. A dark shade rests on the antiquities of America, and few rays of light enliven the gloom. We have ancient history to inform us of the events in Egypt, how that empire was founded, and how it prospered and fell. We have the same record at Babylon, Nineveh, Greece, Rome, Carthage, but not in the least information we have in relation to those who erected these cities. What people, whence they came, not a ray of light to dispel the gloom which seems to rest on the earliest history of America. Architecture, sculpture, painting, and all the arts that adorn civilized life have flourished in this country, at a period far from remote. This is evidence sufficient to prove that these cities were in ruins at least 16 or 1800 years ago. In Palenque are the remains of an altar over which grows the immense cedar, whose powerful roots enshrine it. The whole city is overgrown with mahogany and cedar trees of enormous size. The concentric circles of these trees, the well-known cycles for a year, have been counted, which shows they were more than 800 years old, and there were indications of another generation of trees having sprung up before them. How few reflect on the fact that America is an old dominion, the seat of an ancient and mighty empire. These facts are opening themselves every day to the eyes of the astonished world. It is to be hoped that the spirit of inquiry, which seems at present to animate all classes of learned men, may throw light on the early history of this remarkable reign. Absolutely fascinating article from 1858. So that's it for today. I do hope you enjoyed. Have a blessed day, and please like, comment, and subscribe.